Usually here we tell you about the quote-unquote news that happens around Idaho. But what about the news that didn't quite happen? Well, if a tree falls in a forest, right? Well, today we didn't actually hear that tree fall, but that's because there's a dispatcher in Nampa that prevented it from falling. And by that I mean she helped prevent a possible officer-involved shooting. Parris explains.
When your phone rings, it's probably not a matter of life and death.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
When the phone lights up here, though, it's very possible.
Kind of just you're ready for anything.
Maureen Fenimore works as a dispatcher with Nampa Police. She says there are plenty of times her heart rate goes up during a call.
Like when you're taking the calls and it's starting to go up, you can feel like your heartbeat go up, whether it's someone that's yelling out over the radio or it's an in-progress call and you're trying to talk to the person.
Late last year,
a person called in to report the location of someone that had a warrant, and all they had was the person's nickname.
Not a lot of info, right? But Maureen used her resources and got to work.
I took all the information I could get from the person and I just researched and found the person that they were talking about.
She quickly realized the person they were looking for could be a danger to the officers closing in on him. Officers like Corporal Jared Hooksma.
She brought it to my attention that this was probably a little bit more than just an average warrant service.
Though this pair doesn't sit together in a police cruiser, they are partners. And Corporal Hooksma says the quick sleuthing Maureen did on their suspect kept officers away from danger.
I fear that it would have turned south pretty quick. They told me that this subject was high on meth, has weapons currently that are in the home, and had made statements of shooting it out with police officers if they were encountered.
You're always there. You're always there helping. Whether you take a call, then you do the research and you try to find those people. Like you're right there with them to make sure that they stay safe.
She did a phenomenal job, and in my opinion, probably kept us from having another officer-involved shooting.
Maureen is very humble about her work. She says she was just doing her job. Corporal Hooksma, though, made sure her actions were noticed, and Maureen was honored by Nampa Police.
It starts with them. Without that, oh man, we'd be lost.
And Brian, this is just one of those stories that we don't hear about. There are dozens and dozens that happen every single day. And when you go into any dispatch center like Nampa Police, the intensity in there, it's hard to gauge because it's so quiet. But the calls they take are very important. They're just sometimes it matters of life and death. Sometimes someone locked their keys in their car, but it's incredible some of the stories we don't hear about.
I was just going to say that, yeah. That's the kind of stuff, is those ones you don't hear about are sometimes the best stories, but it really highlights how much of a team the dispatch is with the officers or the first responders in these situations.
Yeah, they're their eyes and ears, behind the scenes, helping the officers as they're getting up to a situation. They can give them real-time updates like, hey, don't knock on this door. We have some information. Back off. We'll do this another time.
All right, very interesting. All right, thanks, Joe.